Guys, you're watching this video after everything has been fixed on the new hatchback STI. And the reason I'm doing this is because it was so worth it. This thing doesn't make a noise anymore. When you would turn the wheel going highway speeds, you could hear a like, it didn't have characteristics of a wheel bearing, but to me it's the only thing that could really be making that kind of sound. Turned out it was the wheel bearing. And then also the struts in the front, when you would turn, you could hear either way. So I thought the bearings were getting tired, and sure enough. So what do? All brand new 2011 struts with no mileage on them. We did brand new brakes up front, pads and rotors, and we did new wheel bearings up front. And this thing drives like a new car. It is so, what's the word for it? Exceptional, I guess. I wasn't expecting to have results like this, but it literally took away all the faults in the drivetrain noise and vibration that I was feeling. So super stoked. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Make sure to check it out and see what I did. But yeah, enjoy the video. What's up, everybody? Welcome to part 2 of the hatchback STI brakes, wheel bearings, and struts. Lovely package came in today thanks to Rock Auto. I pretty much got everything, including the rubber pillows. This is for the rear. So that's the rear. These are the strut or the spring mounts for the front, so I will be needing those. And the KYBs that say made in China. Again, seems like you can't get away from that. I try to stay away from that as much as I can. And these are the rear. Whoa. There's the rear. Actually looks like it's in, somewhat, it's nice. It seems like it's quality, so that's good. And then I got the fronts. I'll just let that drop because it's metal and stronger than the box. So here's this. I really wish it would have came with the top bolt because I'm going to take the springs off the strut assemblies, the old ones now, which sucks. But it did come with the top 3 mounting bolts. So let's get it. So I got one strut in, and I wanted to do it this way, so I didn't just start recording, and for some reason it wasn't able to go in. So there it is, sitting all pretty. Everything's torqued. I will put the torque specs up that I found. I couldn't find anything specific for the GR, but yeah, I'll fix it. I just see that I have a broken bushing there, I think. Maybe it's not broken, but it's getting old. For sure. So I'm gonna have to get those done. Anyway, so the struts are in. Well, one is. And so far, so good. I think these are 129 foot-pounds. This one is 41, I believe, and these ones are 14.7. But again, I'll put the screenshot on what I found. Again, do your own research. But this one is complete for the most part. And yeah, these new bolts that came with it aren't very helpful. They're a different size, and like they're a 13. And they didn't go on the studs very nice, so I just used the OEM ones. But I wanted to show you guys here the difference. They're pretty much the same thing. So these are the new ones. Obviously, these are the old ones. This is the strut mount that came with this. It looks like a generic piece, and I'm not too excited about it because it doesn't fit this very nice. But I aligned it like this one, if you know what I mean. So that one is at the bottom there, up against the mount for the spring or the stop. This one is up against it as well, and I just matched the closest point of contact, the top, very top of the spring, to this, and it fits nice. So that's what I did. I did it with the other one too, and I'm not a huge fan of this one. So if you're gonna do your struts, try to find an OEM mount. But I'm too far gone. I'm gonna do it anyway. So that's the only thing that's different is this guy right here versus this. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the passenger side out. Sorry, the driver's side, and plop this one in. That's 2 struts installed and 2 to go. So that was my knee. Yeah, the bushings aren't as bad as I thought. Those are like bump stops. They are getting old. I will look into replacing them, but they definitely don't need to be done right this minute. This looks beautiful. Brand new compared to those old rusty things. This car sat for 3 or 4 years, I can't remember, waiting for the engine that's in it to be rebuilt. So these things are kind of a must as I go through them. But yeah, this is a 2011 to 2014 suspension struts on all 4 corners. So I'm gonna do the rear tomorrow, but I'm probably gonna build them today and just get ready to put them in. But everything's torqued up. Like I said, I'll put the torque specs on the screen that I was able to find. If you guys are able to find GR chassis specific, let me know. But I went 129 on the lower 2 strut bolts. I will be going to 41 up here, or whatever the screenshot says. I think it's 41, and these are 14.9 or 7. And I torqued those. So everything's torqued up. Everything's looking good, like it should. And here's the passenger side. So yeah, it's getting there, guys. Rear suspension tomorrow. I'm gonna build it today. I'm just spent and it's like 9 o'clock or something. So it's storming out there. It's awesome to work in the garage when it's storming and the lightning's going. But taking a break for today, gonna build the rear suspension and then we'll slap her on tomorrow. The rears are a lot easier. They don't have that weird top hat thing. They just have a rubber ring that sits against the mount that's not offset. So I'll show you that in the video. Hey ladies and gents, it is the next day. I got this one in. So looks a lot newer and cleaner. I just sprayed my anti-rust stuff all over in there, so should help a little bit. But you do have to take the sway bar, or at least I did. I had to take that bolt out. Thankfully it's a bolt. It doesn't spin on a ball joint, and we all know how that story ends or starts usually. So here's the new strut. Had to take that off, unbolt it from the bottom, unbolt it from the top, and I just used one arm to push this down to wiggle it all out. And in the end, it came out nice. So Rock Auto they missent me some mounts, or some insulators rather, these little guys in here. So I have to take it off of the other, well, I had to take it off the old struts. I just got the last one out. See, there's that. So I just have to zip this off. I'm using a spring compressor to keep the spring compressed. And I'm gonna reuse this. They're in good shape. I'll just clean them up and reuse them. Now that being said, I looked on my order and it looked like they misshipped. Well, they gave me the wrong ones for the back, but they misshipped the ones for the front. So the fronts don't even have any right now. And I don't like that. So I think what I'm gonna do is take the old ones out of the box and get the OEM insulators and put those back on, which is unfortunate because I'm almost done. Now, this has been a pain in my neck. It's going pretty good, honestly, but the bolts on the sway bar are a weird size, and I don't know if it's because they're rusted. The one on that side was so badly rusted that it cross-threaded itself, so I had to reuse another bolt and nut, which was a different thread. It was a finer thread, but it was the same bolt size, like physical. So this is the sway bar bolt here. So I'm kind of unsure what kind of bolt this is. I'm gonna clean the threads up, but it does look like this one's sort of cross-threading too. But my 15 fits this one. So it's kind of a weird size for Subaru. But I'm gonna zip the top hat off of that strut over there, take the insulator off, put the insulator on this spring, and then get my wife to help me while I compress the spring, and she can put the nut on there. So far, it's a pretty easy job, just tedious. All right, guys, there she is. Wife just helped me put the new top hat on. It's nice and new. And the strut's in really good shape too, compared to the other ones. So bushing's like brand new. So I'm gonna throw this in. All right, so the order of operations is we're gonna put the strut in first, not bolt it in, and then we're gonna bolt in the sway bar link. Because if you put the strut in before the sway bar link, you're not gonna be able to move it up easily. You might need a jack. So I just choose just to do it easier and put the strut in, leave it unbolted, bolt that guy in, and then bolt the strut in. I applied some of my rust stuff just at the face of the strut mount to the body. So everything's unbolted. I'm gonna go up here and I'm gonna bolt both of those in, and then I'm gonna start with a strut bolt and then finish it off with the, the sway bar bolt, and then finish it off with the strut bolt. Sway bar bolt is in. That bolt is definitely the wrong one, so I'm gonna order some new bolts for this thing and put all new hardware in it. This is the rear strut bolt, so I did throw some grease on it because it's gonna sit in that that metal sleeve where the bushing of the strut sits. I can't talk right now, focusing on this thing. I'm gonna grab the jack and jack this lower control arm up, slip the bolt in, and then we should be ready to torque everything down. This side went in a lot easier than the other one. I didn't even really need the jack. This just slipped right into place real nice. And tightened both of those down. I'm gonna torque it now. I tightened the bolts up there and the center shaft bolt. And I think we're ready to torque now. Also wanted to show you guys, so this is the access panel to the struts in the back. There's a secret to getting these off. You just put your finger in the back and push these tabs out with your finger from behind, and they pop right off. So there's no risk in damaging it really. Whereas if you put a screwdriver or something, or a plastic pry bar, you have the risk of snapping the plastic tabs. So it's just as simple, put your finger in there and push it out. So I'm gonna torque these. I'll put the torque specs up on the screen for you so you can follow along. These cars for some reason are hard to find torque specs. I found a pretty good one, so like I said, I'll share it with you guys on the screen now. Up top is torqued. Now I believe this one from the screenshot, I'll put it up on the screen again, is 89, and that one's like 33 point something. So I'm probably just gonna go exactly what this one says because it's a round number, and I'll round up on that one. So again, I'll put the screenshot up for you guys. Ladies and gents, the rear is donezo. Super stoked. That went pretty easy, just cumbersome. Again, yeah, if I didn't learn from my mistakes, okay? When you get suspension, either make sure they come complete, and if they don't, make sure you have the right parts. What I should have done is just ordered from Partsook and got the right parts. Because now that means I have to take the fronts off. I don't know if I told you, I can't remember, but either way, the insulators are not on the front. So I have to take the fronts off and swap the OEM insulators on. So I can start putting the back together. And ooh, that was a good scratch, wherever that was. This side's done too. Insulator's in. Back is completely good to go. Everything is torqued properly. I am going to buy new, well, I have new strut bars actually, or sway bars. And these are the thicker stuff that go along with these struts from a newer STI. So I'm gonna order new hardware and new end links, and I'm gonna do the front and the back. So that'll be another video. I should start doing a tool video. This job, the fronts and the backs, was really easy. You're gonna need your 10, your 12, your 14, and your 17-inch sockets and wrenches for sure. You're gonna need a torque wrench because you have to torque everything back. It's a bonus having an impact gun because everything zips off faster and goes back on closer to torque faster, but don't over torque. And that's pretty much it. And also lots of lube. Lubricant was my friend, I think. That's why kind of everything came apart so easy. So This has to come out because, as you guys can see, there's no insulator up there. So I'm going to take the factory one off and put it on. I don't know how important they are. This is definitely moving still, so I should probably do that. I'll put the factory one on. But yeah, I'm going to start that process by taking the factory ones off the old struts. So not done yet. All right, in case y'all are wondering, this is what I'm taking off here. So it has like a rubber insulator on top of a metal. It looks like it's okay shape. It's just rusty, but it's not like, it's just very surface rust. So I'm going to take this factory one off and pop it on the new struts. All right, guys, so I put this in the vise, and this just sat on this, like so, like on the shaft. And then there's this little separator washer that sits on this this bed here. This one was seized on, so I just put some lubricant in it, and I had to use a breaker bar. Not a breaker bar, but a, what am I trying to say? Oh, I cannot think today, guys. A pry bar, that's what it is. I used a long pry bar and just hammered it up, and it just came off, but it was on there real good, so it's off now. All right, so I washed those off as much as I could. I'm gonna give them a coat of the infamous wheel coating. I was debating getting the rust paint, but every time I get the rust paint, it seems like it accelerates the rust. That's just the experience I've had with them. So yeah, I'm gonna give them a nice fresh coat. Make sure or help prevent further rusting. And yeah, let it dry overnight and then put it on the struts tomorrow. I'm painting the top hats outside. Check out that massive spider on the intercooler. Thing is huge. Orb weaver rather. Look at that thing. So it is the next day. I'm just sick and tired of dealing with this stuff. But anyway, I took the OEM spring mount off and the old one and put it on the new one, and I feel a lot better. This is what was on there, and it actually wasn't that bad, but I was just sent the wrong pieces for it to not have an insulator, right? So it's all scratched up, but I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do with that now. But I put some grease on the top because there was grease on there before, so it'll make everything move nicer and not squeak. So yeah, I'm gonna put the top hat on now. Hopefully the wife can come help me screw it on while I push the spring down. Finally, the time has come to double check everything is torqued. Everything's on, everything's torqued up here. Now I just gotta do the axle nuts and I'm done. Just waiting for the wife to come and press the brake while I torque these guys down. All right, everybody, she's done. She's restored back to her former glory, but with better suspension, and it's raised a bit more. It's not sagging as bad in the back, and that's because we replaced the suspension with 2011 STI struts, which is an upgrade for this car apparently. They are stiffer and just overall better, so I'm super stoked about that. We did all new strut mounts, all new spring mounts, wheel bearings up front, and new brakes up front. And that about does it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's used for entertainment purposes, so I hope you you know, laughed with me and maybe cried with me, and maybe you won't make the same mistakes I did. So it's a bonus for everybody. But if you did like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. All right, peace everybody.